Has this ever happened to you? You put some money in a savings account with a great rate. But that promotional savings rate came crashing down. You deserve better. Take just 5 minutes and open a Capital One savings account online. You'll get one of the nation's best rates that's not a promotional rate. Welcome to Banking Reimagined. What's in your wallet?
For consumers only. Offered by Capital One N.A. member FDIC. Copyright 2017 Capital One.
Blog Talk Radio.
Welcome to the R.E.I.G.N Blog Talk Radio Show with your host, Minister Annie Bell. And you're listening to it on the WIN Network. Yes, that's right, WIN Network. Together, we win. Stay tuned. Hand it down, afraid to let it out. Shackles, chains, the hurt, the guilt, the stain. I'm more than a conqueror. I'm more than a victim. I fight, I win. The chains are broken. 'Cause I reign, you reign, we reign, he reigns. I reign, we reign together, together. I reign, you reign, we reign, he reigns. I reign, we reign together, together. I reign, you reign, we reign, he reigns. I reign, we reign together, together. Say it. I reign, you reign, we reign, he reigns. I reign, we reign together, 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 together.
Well. Thanks for meeting me here again. Good evening to you all, R.E.I.G.N fans. Welcome to the second episode of our third season of R.E.I.G.N Blog Talk Radio Show. Thank you so much for joining me tonight, my friends. Of course, you know who I am. I'm Minister Annie Bell, the host and creator of R.E.I.G.N Blog Talk Radio Show, which is also an outreach of Wealth Management Ministries Incorporated. We are, as you know, endeavoring to bring talk therapy to survivors of child abuse, sex trafficking, and other traumas. But we also endeavor to provide awareness, prevention, and resources to our community. So we bring a network of people, of guests and their organizations, books, and things of that sort, so that you can get connected and find a way to heal and, of course, find a way to connect. Now, a while ago, while I was studying for my Christian counseling degree at Liberty University, I learned a sad but interesting fact about the indigenous people, the Native American Indians. Their population is one of the most hardest hit with alcoholism and drug addiction. Now, while preparing for this episode, however, I learned that within the Native American Indian the American Indian tribe, the children suffer from a very high rate of child abuse, violence, and suicide. Now, you will be shocked at how many people and who are actually the perpetrators that are inflicting this pain upon our children. And so here with me in our virtual studio tonight is Aaron Williams, and he is, aside from the fact that he too is a Native American Indian, he is also a mental health counselor, an advocate. He served as the social services director at the Alabama Coushatta tribe and served on the Texas Supreme Court Commission on Collaborative Team for Children. Please welcome Mr. Aaron Williams to the show. Welcome, Mr. Williams.
Hello there.
Now, don't be shy now. Don't be shy. Go ahead and speak up, Mr. Williams.
Yes, I'm here. Just adjusting a few things. Yes, good to be on the show with you, Annabelle. I think it's a great thing to be speaking from the indigenous world to educate, some, and I know many people in the ethnic group, they know their own ethnicity. And so basically, just I'm honored to be on your show.
Thank you so much. And I appreciate you taking the time to share, to educate us. I know that you have a wealth of information that we could actually glean from. And it may not be the first time that you're on the show. You might have to come back. So, be prepared that I might even ask you, because I know my hour here goes by so fast. So, if we don't get to it all, there will be other opportunities. So, but as much as possible, I would like you to share. But before we even begin, I love my audience to get to know our guests a little bit. So if you will, tell us a little bit about yourself. Where do you live currently, or, your family, stuff like that. How many dogs you have, whatever.
Yeah, no problem. Yes, my name is Aaron Williams. I'm the member of the Coushatta tribe of Texas. Enrolled member there. There's about 1,500 plus, along with cats and dogs. Just kidding. Also, we have other independent more Coushattas in Louisiana as well. I am both Alabama and Coushatta. There's two tribes, sister tribes, Muskogean tribes, the southeastern border of the United States. Our ancestry came from on top of Montgomery, Alabama, 11 miles on top. I'm from the Bear Clan, reside in Livingston, Texas. I have a son, Tash, daughter, Kelsey, resides in Washington, and I have a mother that I'm caretaking at this point here. A very proud inheritance, you could say, here from the Alabama Coushatta in Livingston, Texas. It's about 90 miles northeast of Houston, Texas. So that big hurricane that hit, it did kind of penetrate all the rivers and bayous and lakes, and we got affected as well. So, however, I basically been here, born and raised here in Livingston, Texas, a true Texan and Dallas Cowboy supporter. Basically, I'm also a reverend. I do a faith-based ministry, Aaron Williams Ministry, and I've been doing social work in mental health type entity for a period of time, over 25 years, telling on myself about how old I am. But anyway,
I appreciate that.
Yes.
You have such a colored background, very diverse and very deep and enriched in your heritage. So I love that about what you're bringing forth today, and what you bring forth as just a person, yes. Being so well-rounded. Now, me, I'm gonna be honest with you. I don't quite understand I do a little bit understand about how reservations came to be. But do you mind sharing with us a little bit, because I don't.
Sure.
There's some things about it that like I said, that I learned just from doing some research to be prepared for the show. But give us a brief history, maybe about 2-3 minutes, brief history about the reservations here in the United States.
Sure. There's about 566 recognized native tribes all over the country. The biggest tribe is from the Navajos, around 250,000 population. Also, the Sioux are around that amount as well. We are the smaller. My tribe, the Alabama Coushatta tribe, is in Texas. We didn't originate in Texas. We got displaced from, pushed out, they say, on the other side of the Mississippi River at the time, the Trails of Tears, the Cherokees, and all that. So a lot of different places were displaced in places, in a lot of our origin lands. Well, there's tribes all over. There's Sioux, there's Navajo, I can't name them all out there. There's Cherokees, like our tribe. We are real close to Choctaw, Cree, Seminole, Alabama Cushatas, and it goes on. And there's Mohawks and up north, and there's Blackfeet up north. From Montana. There's a tribes that are on the southwest, northwest, central, east. They are all over, basically, and we have endured violence, especially we are targeting today with the trafficking in Native communities. We have endured a lot of the violence, the Native Americans. We basically the trafficking existed in Native communities for centuries. And the earliest point of contact of European, and Christopher Columbus engaged with the exploitation of indigenous people from the moment he encountered the behavior set was the Native women were in the hands of the non-Native men. So
right, and what and if I may interrupt, because I think we're going to talk about a lot of that going forward in the show, so I didn't want you to reveal too much right now.
Okay.
I appreciate the information that you were giving about the, how the reservations got started and how many there are. There's so many. You said there's 566, and in each one, how many people, how many people could it be in each reservation?
Yeah, like I said, each reservation varies. Like our reservation's 1,500 people, and then we can go to the next, like Oklahoma. Really, reservation, if you term reservation, our reservation here has borders that was entrusted in us way back. We're a neutralized tribe, didn't get involved too much in wars, but talking about the Alamo, some of our warriors, Davy Crockett and all those, Sam Houston entrusted some land because we were a part of the Scouts in war. We were involved with the wars and different things. So it was allocated to us to have a trust land, state trust land, but also we are federally recognized. In the 50s, we were federally recognized, and we did have, I can't remember, 1,800, and now we have about 5,600 acre. It's a small reservation compared. It's a very central located, very family oriented.
Okay.
We can go to, yes.
Well, I think that's good. That's good information. Let's move on and go directly into our topic for this evening.
Okay.
So what I want to do, and because we know that child abuse and sex trafficking is so prevalent throughout
Yes.
the United States, to think that because they're in and the children are in reservations or the women are in reservations doesn't necessarily protect them from this, unholy movement that's going on to traffic our kids and abusing our children, stuff like that. So about how many incidences have been substantiated about sex trafficking? Whether you have annual data or overall data.
Yes, as far as our small tribe here, because of confidentiality, but the statistics is less than 1% here because it's such a small tribe. However, the infiltration is there among other tribes.
Let's put that in perspective. You had 15. You said 1,500 people.
Yes.
In your tribe.
We have been, even though I say is less than 1% here recorded in this tribe here. I kind of know the history from way back to there. We have more physical abuse, emotional neglect, sexual, domestic family violence here on this reservation that we dealt more of a lot of alcoholism and some potential suicide. Also, we have lately, there's more than 45 million women, children under exploitation all over the country. The human trafficking in Texas is startling because approximately 79,000 minor and youth are victims of sex trafficking in Texas, 79,000. And also,
wow.
I found another statistic, approximately 234,000 workers are victims of labor trafficking. And also, there are currently estimated victims of human trafficking in Texas is 313,000.
Mm-hmm. Are you saying
trafficking exploits? It like I said, from victims of labor trafficking, 600 million has been recorded. 600 million here in Texas alone.
Just
and
in
minor
Texas
and youth.
alone?
Yes, minor and youth sex trafficking costs the state of Texas approximately $6.6 billion.
Mm-hmm.
So basically, the statistics are here. What I'm saying to the community or to the nation, that we are not exempt, because I remember one morning in our convenience store, tribal store, 7 a.m, I had some perpetrators coming through, and you could they had wallet of monies and all that, and it looked like they were middleman runners. So all this, you could tell we could sense that as a community, we could tell through the eyes of the kids and children and the community. Our community is so tight, they bring awareness to the tribe, the best interest of the tribe. So basically, they felt like there's infiltration from these sex traffickers or dodging law enforcement from the interstates and coming to our state. We have a state road that goes right through our reservation on Highway 190, and they were begin to take a second standard roads that come. But we have been feeling very tense even now, because being social service director, in a way, I felt the need to bring that awareness too. So I just wanted to share that part.
Well, and you said something that says something very profound there, but I have to take a break. So could you put a little pin in there, and we'll be right back after this commercial. Okay. Everyone, please stay seated. We'll be right back.
Have you priced commercials lately? Advertising can truly break your budget. At WIN, we eliminate the most common hurdle to advertising. Advertise with WIN to reach potential customers locally, nationally, and internationally for as low as $150. Yes, that's right, $150 per commercial. We Inspire Network Radio is a new and rapidly growing online radio network that boasts of dynamic seasoned show hosts who are drawing audiences from across the nation and abroad. Africa, Australia, Scotland, Canada, just to name a few. We also have the technical capabilities to advertise your products and services through sound bites, slideshows, and more. No long-term contracts. You pay per show. Advertise on WIN, and you are sure to be a winner. For more information, call us 201-477-0469. Email Annie Bell at wealthmanagement-fs.org.
Sadly, today, most of us know at least one person that suffers from addiction or substance abuse. Addiction does not discriminate. No age, gender, race, or classes of people are immune to the horrors of addiction. This epidemic has ruined families, claimed lives, and left loved ones devastated. Over 100 people die from overdoses daily, and over 20 million Americans suffer from some form of addiction. For this reason, author Lloyd H. Bell Jr. has written the book Clean and Serene. The author is an addictions counselor and recovering addict of over 13 years. He knows and has first-hand experience of being caught in the grips of addiction. Clean and Serene provides experience, strength, and hope for the still suffering addict. It can also be used as a tool in recovery. Whether it is used in a group setting or individually, this book was written to assist in the recovery process and encourage. Integrating inspirational, encouraging, and challenging scriptures, the author has provided a resource that is sure to change lives. If you or someone you know is battling with addiction, this book is for you. If you are in recovery, this is a great resource to add to your toolbox. If you are a group leader or addictions counselor, this is an awesome book for group therapy. Clean and Serene. Scriptural Meditations for Recovery is available nationwide in both ebook and print. Get your copy or a copy for some you know today from Amazon or Barnes & Noble bookstore. For less than $10, you can potentially change the life of someone currently paying the high cost of living with an addiction.
Welcome back to R.E.I.G.N Blog Talk Radio Show with your host, Minister Annie Bell.
All right. Like he said, I am Minister Annie Bell, and I am the host of R.E.I.G.N Blog Talk Radio Show. If you're just catching us right now, we're talking about the pervasiveness of child abuse and sex trafficking that has also impacted the reservations, the American Indian Reservations that we have. Now, as you know, We Inspire Network Radio is who is powering us. And if you're interested in sponsoring a show or advertising on our platforms, all the different shows that we offer, please do not hesitate to contact our marketing department at 201-477-0469. Now we're back with Mr. Williams, who is, again, the mental health counselor and advocate. And he was telling us about how these sex traffickers, when they are being chased by police, that they will go and try to get hidden inside of the reservation. Is that what I understand, Mr. Williams?
Yes, they do. They try to do their very job to come in and even influence several of our members. Remember, we questioned them, investigated them, and they seem to be tied into some. They denied it, but we could never catch the perpetrators.
Okay. And that's probably how these traffickers are coming in, obviously, and preying, P-R-E-Y, praying, not the P-R-A-Y, on the children of those reservations. Is that what's happening?
Yes. One of the things we are all the reservation, whether traditional or Christianity, they are tapped into our higher power, so to speak. Some will say creator, Jesus, or, we say Abamiko is God. Basically, we've been Christianized a long time, since the 1700s here. There's a Presbyterian, there's a Baptist, and there's a Assembly of God. So I think the prayers of the innocents, the elders, especially, we glean to the elders a lot. We hear to the elders and all the way to the top of the chain, the government body, wherever. We really cover ground, so to speak, for years. And most of our reservations are tap into spirituality in that way, along with everybody, all the other groups out there.
Okay. Now, tell me some of the, maybe one or two of the worst case of child abuse or sex trafficking that you either had a chance to witness or you heard about through your tenure as a social services director with the Alabama Coushatta tribe.
Well,
and of course, we want to
like
keep
the confidential. I'll include. Yes, I will include. I'm sorry about that. I will include a lot of other places when I did mission work on a faith-based basis in the communities. I went to the Northwest, Southwest, East. So I will include some. I will not mention tribes, but however, I will mention in the Northwest and Southwest, and then our Central and the South here. Basically, I have seen the worst scenario of 3 kids staying overnight, pretty much being neglected, and they almost burned the house down. Basically, they call early in the morning because they were hungry, and we came in. We were called. The law enforcement called us, and we walked in, and basically they were dirty. The house hasn't been basically touched for a while. The pizza and the refrigerator, just I sort of smell the worst scenario. You could walk into a home with three kids kind of being abandoned, neglect, and they nearly at times there's some smoke spots in the oven area at the top, so they had turned the furnace on a little bit, and you could tell they were hungry, and basically, and so for how long they've been neglected there, so that was approached and addressed, and law enforcement came, and like I said, the tribal, we're not called CPS, but it's basically, we have the same roles of investigators, same roles of, we stand by on ICWA, Indian Child Welfare Act, and anything would happen, sometimes it is reported to the state, the county, they will address that. We have to be in collaboration, and so we went in and kind of investigate full investigation, and to make sure that the placement, even it's not a quick placement to the state, it's a quick placement to the kingship, under ICWA law, Indian Child Welfare Act law, that's been established in 1978 for Native Americans, and to keep stability.
So that, just that I can share information with our audience. Inside the reservation is almost like its own country. So ran by its own rules, its own government, and so the state or the federal government really can't come in there and enforce laws that the reservation doesn't agree to. Am I understanding that correctly?
That's correct.
And so when that situation, the children couldn't just be sent to, the Texas CPS and foster care. They had to be then transferred to your, like you said, the kingship. Yes.
Okay. And basically, after CPS finds the potential, maybe a native child abuse with a child, and if we find something out of jurisdiction, meaning out of the reservation, like in Houston, Austin, different places, then if the report comes to us, usually the state will initiate a letter to us. There's a potential child abuse case that's developing. We are the CPS, and they've been collaborating with us pretty regularly, and to determine that's the child's from a tribe or other tribes close by in proximity in Louisiana, Oklahoma, or wherever the child originally came from. And the tribes, and the tribe will determine what the child's person may belong to, and before the transfer occurs, the tribe will determine what's the best interest for the child, or it depends all on the severity of the case, and if it's a child abuse, if it's more severity with a sexual abuse type things, then
so in this case that we were
it will be placed accordingly.
in this case that you were talking about, excuse me for interrupting you, but it was basically a case of neglect, correct?
Yes,
Did
it was
y'all
a
find
neglect.
that there was any sexual abuse going on as well as the neglect?
Yeah, that wasn't determined. Well, it was determined, but it ruled out that it wasn't sexual abuse, but it was more neglect, negligence, and abandonment, that type of thing. And then,
for our audience,
yes,
neglect is just another form of child abuse, and
yes,
neglect can be just as harsh and traumatizing on a child as sexual abuse or verbal and emotional abuse. And so, and it's traumatic. It's a different form of pain for the child, but it's pain nonetheless. So I don't want anyone to listen to and say, oh, it's just neglect. No, neglect is harsh. When you have children who are hungry and about to set the house on fire just to try to fix something to eat or find something to eat, and being abandoned, that's a whole, the abandonment is a whole nother issue there that they have to emotionally work through. So it is harsh. Now, I'm at my second commercial break, so everybody please hold for just a moment. Mr. Williams, if you'll also put another bookmark there, and we'll be right back.
Yes.
With, our second half hour in just about 2 minutes. Everybody stay put. Hello, everybody. My name is Minister Annie Bell, and I am the host of R.E.I.G.N Blog Talk Radio Show, where we endeavor to bring talk therapy to survivors of child abuse, sex trafficking, and other traumas, as well as being the vehicle by which we use to bring awareness and resources to the community to aid in the prevention of these abuses. R.E.I.G.N, which is a declarative acronym for the individual survivor, that means I identify myself as a survivor, no longer a victim. R, reclaim my life. E, excel at living. I, illuminate the dark. G, grow in Christ. And N, nurture myself and others. This declarative acronym has developed into a victorious lifestyle brand that empowers and aids in the healing journey of our survivors of abuse, sex trafficking, and other traumas. I have also written a book entitled with the namesake, R.E.I.G.N, A Survivor's Guide to Thrive, which is now available at Amazon.com and Barnes & Noble. Pick up your copy today and join me every Tuesday night at 8 p.m. here on We Inspire Network Radio, where together, through God, we win. If we endure, we shall reign with Him.
We Inspire Network. It's not your ordinary radio station. The home of true inspiration. We Inspire Network. It's not your ordinary radio station. The home of true inspiration. We Inspire Network. We Inspire Network. It's not your ordinary radio station. The home of true inspiration. We Inspire Network. It's not your ordinary radio station. The home of true inspiration. We Inspire Network.
Welcome back to R.E.I.G.N Blog Talk Radio Show with your host, Minister Annie Bell.
Thank you for those who have stayed put and those who are just joining us. This is I.R.E.I.G.N Blog Talk Radio Show, and I am Minister Annie Bell, the host and creator. Now, just want to kind of share with you all that we're doing a conference here in Atlanta. It's called the Life Conference, October 6th and 7th. There are some free sessions in there, and we've got the swag bag going on, and it's going to be chock full. Got about 5 actually other speakers as well. So please come and check us out. You can find us on Eventbrite, and you just want to search L.I.F.E.conference, Life Conference. So, come in and check us out. We would love to have you. Now, we have been talking with Mr. Aaron Williams, who is a mental health counselor and advocate, about the tragedies of sex trafficking and child abuse that happens inside of reservations. And so, and he was just sharing with us one that he had seen that was the worst case scenario. I mean, the worst case that he has actually witnessed. So, Mr. Williams, thank you again for staying with us.
Yes,
and
glad
sharing.
to be here. Yes.
Great. Now, let's talk about. We've talked about the problem, and I never want to stop the show without talking about some solutions. So, let's get into the solution of it. And
sure,
one of the things that I want to make sure I pointed out that, yes, there are some of the abuse that's happening at the hands of other American Indian people, but there are also people coming in from outside of the reservation who are inflicting pain. And so this problem, it's not a vacuum. I want to make sure everybody understands this reservation is not a vacuum, and I also think that some of the legislation has to change a little bit to make sure that women and children are protected. Because right now the VAWA only protects the woman if she gets raped by an outsider, or accosted or whatever have you. But if a child gets into that predicament, they're not protected. So what are some ways, some things that we could be doing to decrease or even completely eradicate child abuse and sex trafficking, and more specifically within the reservations?
Yes, a few things come to mind, and I was checking my notes, and basically sex trafficking, like I said before, even maybe talking to the viewers that just joined in, it's been existing way back, and we dealt with it. And the best way, not the best way, I think, more effective way we look for ways to stop sex trafficking. We have a general things that we follow policy here, basically educating the CPS, Child Protective Service, educating whoever in awareness, like the conference you got. Education is one of the biggest platform that we like to educate everybody as from the indigenous point of view. People to recognize, and yes, it's not just a vacuum for us. It's a national problem. It's a problem that occurs in every sector, every city, nationally, and also educating and recognize the signs. And we teach a lot, especially in a community setting. A lot of times when we set up awareness type conference here, we'll say educate. We want to educate. Let's get educated. Let's get this. Recognize the signs, and then and if you have to, we are the eyes, ears, and whatever it may be that we may see, that we report the suspicion all around us. Just being aware, being a good citizen. However, we can help one another's neighbors. Let's protect our community. Whatever we can bring up, signs, whatever or rallies or workshops. And also the biggest thing is what you guys been doing, raise awareness. Always raise awareness. Awareness of, it can be not enough. I guess it's something that brings the solution and provincial side. That's what our top government body, the Tribal Council, always emphasize our programs and services to basically raise awareness. If something tragic happens, they want to address it as a whole tribe sometime and to take care. We have to bring grief counselors or different things. And also, yes, statistically, sex trafficking is a sensitive problem, but it's a sensitive discussion. However, it needs to stop and that type of thing. And then take an action, an amendment, or something that we can put in and let it become law within the reservation, and that we are the mandate reporter type, and to address these things. I want to mention that the trafficking of American Indian and Alaska Natives is across the board. And also I want to kind of mention, you have mentioned to me what it entails. Is there sex trafficking, child abuse, and all that? Those two are in itself a very serious problem that we have. And also, like in Canada, maybe some Canadians are listening in, the indigenous people from Canada. I was up there and I looked at my phone and it had Amber Alert of sex trafficking 3 times a day from across from one end to the other. And it was also, across from one region to another, one not isolated. And also, it kind of disturbed me because I start seeing the numbers when the Canadians, their agency, their awareness, their people, their counselors begin to talk. It was over 3,000 plus, almost 4,000. But some say it's more. It hasn't been reported. I talked to one of my former councilmen just a while ago, and he knew what I was doing here. And I says, "What do you think that exists?" He goes, the numbers are there, but a lot of it's the greater, the unseen. There's numbers out there. They've been trafficking. There's almost 200,000 that I can say that hasn't been reported, basically. And so
I was going to say, even though it's been going on for so long, it has been going on under our noses for so long, and it's been hidden. And it's like hidden in plain sight, that it has grown. This amoeba has grown out of control. And now we are so far behind the 8 ball. Every time we take a step closer to eradicate sex trafficking, they have all, because they're already ahead of us, they are figuring out other ways, the whole back page. Now that back page, they're fighting back and don't want to give an inch, and reverting everybody to, they took it off of escort and put it on a dating, It's ridiculous how much is going on, and they're selling our children. They're selling our children so that grown men and women can have sex with them. And if that does not make your skin crawl and make you want to just smack somebody, I don't know what will. We have to protect our children by all means necessary. I'm going to go ahead and skip our next break just so that I can make sure we get everything in. But I do want to make sure.
Can I interject something that's very important?
Sure.
Can I interject something?
Sure.
This has come to a natural proportion right now. It's an epidemic out there. And so our native constituents it went all the way to the top. The Senate Committee, the Indian Affairs, had attempt in July 26, 2017, not too long ago. There was 2 separate reports that was going right to Congress right up there. Human trafficking action needed to identify the number of Native American victims receiving federal funding service. So the agency, Indian Affairs, were seeking to get federal funding for this human trafficking. That's what the first report. The second report was human trafficking information on cases in Indian country and that involve Native Americans. There's actually two reports, but however, it got tabled because I think they were wanting to receive more input, information from tribes. There's 566 tribes. Only a percentage responded, but they kind of trying to want to tally. A lot of the places, law enforcement, they're called General Accountability Office from the Congress side over there, and basically they're saying they found that 20 of 132, 20% of tribal law enforcement agency and 6 of 61, 10% of major city law enforcement agency are reporting initiating investigation that involves human trafficking, at least one Native American victim from 2014 to 2016. So there's been reports demonstrating human trafficking, the exploitation of person, typical through force, fraud, coercion for such purposes, and forced labor, involuntary servitude, and commercial sex occurring in Indian country. So this is a national panel from Homeland Security, Justice Issue, U.S. Government Accountability Office, Office of Justice, Tribal Justice, U.S. Department of Justice, Acting Department, Justice Service, Bureau of Indian Affairs. There's other private ones like Minnesota Indian Women Sexual Assault Coalition. So I'm just kind of giving the kind of overview what's been addressed but got tabled, but they are on it, addressing it across nationally. And I just wanted to kind of mention that in abroad because it is abroad, 560 nations out there. Plus, there's many more nations out there that haven't been federal recognized, but they're out there, and also there's state level status nations out there as well. So
yeah, thank you for that information.
And I thought I mentioned that. I thought that'd be pertinent to talk to the nation, talk to the people about that.
Yes, thank you. I appreciate that. I never want to end the show without first giving my guests the opportunity to talk about what they're doing now, their future endeavors, and how my audience can get in touch with you. If you can do that in like 2 minutes, that'll be great. What you're going to be, what are you doing now, and what you're going to be doing in the next 1 to 5, 6 years.
Basically, there's a momentum. I've been talking to several counselors, even from Canada. We are starting to generate conversation, and get assessment on a site. In the area of sex trafficking is a sensitive area, but we feel like we need to address. So we need to get in alliance with your R.E.I.G.N, other organizations, churches. It don't matter, counselors, professional counselors, mental health institution. I think that awareness, what I'm saying, needs to not just be awareness, but just take one step further and combat as a group in unity. A lot of people feel like it's opening a can of worms. A lot of disgruntled don't want to get into it, but you know what? It's affecting our children, it's affecting our women, even young boys. Even there's been disappearance of a lot of the areas. So there's a broad. So we can all get together, the indigenous group. We can bring awareness to all people.
Well, I'm gonna tell you right now. We have assembled a group of speakers and would love to get you on the panel as well. And our focus is trying to get into churches because, believe it or not, people in the pews are being impacted, and there are people in church who are actually trafficking. So, and would love to try to get into the reservations as well to bring awareness and education. How can my audience get in touch with you, Mr. Williams?
Yeah, I have just a general rep website. I'm developing a website as I talk because I took a few years off being a social worker for almost 25 years, decided to take a vacation, but in the same time, the awareness, things are moving. So they can just basically Aaron, AARONW711 at hotmail.com. Can reach me, email me anytime. Basically, my number is 936-425-0262. It's a new number. That's why I'm trying to. And also, I am developing through R.E.I.G.N from Annabelle. I will update as I go. So I'm really up speeding everything to get the general population. I've been asked to set up an entity for myself as well. And the awareness and the conference, different things we do, whoever, it's nothing, everything costs. So basically, whoever feels in the future to support in every endeavor, I'm willing to collaborate, but that'd be very much appreciated.
Okay, yes, definitely. And everything costs. Nothing is free except the gospel, right? And so even putting on our show here, and we're planning to get ready to go live stream, that all costs. So everyone, those who want to support, please look up Aaron Williams, and you can connect with him even through my Facebook page, and or inbox me or whatever have you. Connect with me, and I will make sure that you can connect with him. Thank you so much, Mr. Williams, for coming on the show this evening.
Thank you very much. I'm very honored to be on the show.
Thank you. Now, I'm doing something a little bit different going forward because I want to make sure that we do hit the other component about healing, the talk therapy portion. And this portion is going to be called Reigning Moments. And so tonight I want to talk about the essentiality of what must happen after a traumatic event. First of all, there has to be some form of resolution. If not, you're possibly looking at down the line and even immediately where there'll be impact on your body, on your emotions, on your mental, stability. And so whether it be through counseling, godly intervention, or by some other method to help heal those open emotional wounds, you must find a way to heal. One of the easiest ways, the quickest ways that cost you no money is to begin your healing journey is to talk about it. And it's called talk therapy, and it works. It has been scientifically proven that talk therapy begins your healing journey. So first, identify a very safe zone, a person or a group, a support group, and begin telling your story, your story of trauma. Now, when I say safe zone, I am talking about a person or a group who is non-judgmental, very supportive. They're going to be sympathetic and even empathetic if they've gone through some type of trauma, that same type of trauma. And that's why there are so many support groups. There's support groups for just about any and everything out here, even about if you lost a pet, there's support groups. So, it works. So get into a support group or find a counselor, a good friend. That's how I began to heal from my child sexual abuse, was being able to tell someone, one of my friends, when I got older, about the things that have happened to me because I was spiraling down. Me, Annie Bell, Minister Annie Bell, minister of the gospel, I almost went to jail because I threatened to kill somebody out of all the anger I was holding in. And I didn't know at the time that threatening to kill someone over the telephone was a federal offense. So I was looking at time behind bars in a prison because of the unresolved pain, trauma that I was going through. Don't go through what I had to go through in order to be where I am. Find a way to heal. It could be pieces at a time. You know, I started out telling just one little thing, or saying, hey, I was molested as a child, or just starting the conversation. You don't have to tell your full story at one time. You don't have to tell everybody, but start somewhere. You decide on the pace. You decide on the volume, okay? And the moment you speak out about your trauma, watch how healing begins to rush in like a mighty wind. So, again, tonight, Raining Moments is for you to begin your healing journey. If you look down in your, wherever if you're casting it online and listening to our broadcast online, you should be able to find help lines. I call them hope lines. If there's a sex trafficking situation, if there is a child abuse situation, whether you're in it or whether you witnessed it, sexual assault, domestic violence, all the numbers are there. For those who are not watching it, listening to it via online broadcast, sex trafficking, call Polaris 1-888-373-7888. For child abuse, 1-800-4A-CHILD. The number 4-A-CHILD. Sexual assault, 1-800-656-4673. Domestic violence, 1-800-787-3224. Now, if this is happening inside of a reservation, still call the numbers. I still believe that they'll be able to connect and transfer you to the right authorities at the time. If this has been a triggering moment for you, don't suffer alone. Give us a call, and we'll have counselors on duty to talk with you. 201-477-0469. We have reached the end of our show, ladies and gentlemen, and as always, we want to give you an opportunity to be a hero or a shero, to make a donation or to get in touch with me or my staff. Please go to www.wealthmngt.org or find me on Facebook and Twitter at R.E.I.G.N, Stop Abuse and Abolish Sex Trafficking. Also, you can go to our YouTube channel at R.E.I.G.N Blog Talk and become a subscriber so that you won't miss a beat, because again, we will be streaming live from YouTube very, very soon. So everyone, repeat after me. Please repeat after me. I reclaim my life. I excel at living. I illuminate the dark. I grow in Christ, and I nurture myself and others. Let's reign together in Christ. See you next Tuesday at 8 p.m. Good night, everybody.
Bound, afraid to let it out, shackles, chains, the hurt, the guilt, the stain. I'm more than a conqueror. I'm more than a victim. I fight, I win. The chains are broken. I reign, you reign, we reign, he reigns. I reign, we reign together. Together. Together.